I'm live. Hi guys. I have no idea if anybody's joined me yet. Oh yes I do. Okay. Um, so I guess I'm going to kick off. Hi, my name's Ming. I run a company called OtOtGo, and I'm here to answer any questions you have about the terms and conditions of Facebook, or anything to do with Facebook really. I'm not necessarily going to have all the answers, but I'm definitely going to try, and if I don't have the answers, I'll get back to you about it. So please ask me anything. I'm going to start by, first of all, sharing a blog that I wrote today. Just, here we go. How does that work? I'm not sure if that's showing. There's this new thing to share and showcase things, so I'm interested if that works. So basically what I saw was an article that was written by the Washington Examiner, which was about Facebook not deleting pages that were in conflict with the community standards. So basically it's hate speech. And one of the really frustrating things for me is people often forget that Facebook is so huge, that it has so many people on it as users, and that there are over some crazy amount of number. What was it? So like 2 years ago, there was, let me just check, my internet's very slow. So over 2 years ago, there were 42 million Facebook pages, which is pretty full on. So if you take into consideration there's that many pages out there, you take into consideration how many people are out there, and let's say just 10% of those users are dicks, for lack of a better word, and they just create hate pages because they've got nothing better to do with their lives. To get rid of that page, often what happens is if you report the page, it will go through an automatic system, and the automatic system will look at it, and it's not a human. It doesn't read these things like a human. So it will come back to you and say, well, this isn't violating community standards, and so on and so forth. And so this article written by the Washington Examiner basically went into saying what an outrage, and how could Facebook do this, and it's all horrible. About not that long ago, probably 8 months ago, there was a situation that happened in Sydney. There was a girl named Keely Curry who posted something about Anzac Day, and it went crazy viral, and a hate page was started up basically saying that she should kill herself and she should die, which of course she shouldn't. She was, at the time, I think she was 16, and it was taken out of context, so it wasn't, her audience wasn't her friends, the audience was other people in other countries that didn't quite understand the fact that she was 16. And so this hate page started, and I think they reached something like 5,000 fans in the space of 18 hours, and it was ridiculous. So a group of us actually got together to report that page, and it took us quite a bit to report the page and get it removed. And they did finally, but it wasn't until a human, a real person, actually got to view it. So I think Facebook cops a bad rap, and people just forget the enormity and the size of what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So that's one thing that I guess I wanted to discuss. Another thing would be things like Facebook competitions. I see a lot of Facebook competitions that are like and share for the chance to win. Like and share with your friends. Back in August, Facebook made some changes to their competition rules, which basically allowed you to run competitions on Facebook, but they were very specific as to how you could run them. And getting people to like and share was one of the things that you couldn't do. Now, the reason behind this is, simply put, if I share your competition to my group of friends and I don't share it publicly, you can't see my entry. So if you can't see my entry, it invalidates the competition. It might get you viral, but it's not fair. So those people who are unwittingly sharing your post and they're only sharing it to their friends, not the public, their entry won't be marked down, and so they won't win. So that's one thing. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. We have a viewer. Who have we got? Oh. What other things can we talk about? One second. So you see a lot of, this was one thing. So I see a lot of things that get scare shared. I asked actually on our page a bit earlier this week, on our Facebook page, our OTGO Facebook page, how many people, or what did people think? Does Facebook own your stuff when you post it online? So when you post it on the Facebook platform, does that mean that Facebook suddenly owns what you've posted? And actually a surprisingly large amount of people said yes. Yes, Facebook owns all my stuff as soon as I post it on Facebook. This actually isn't true at all. Facebook doesn't own your stuff, you own your stuff, otherwise there'd be a whole heap of other copyright law issues going on if that was the case. And so Facebook does not own your stuff, not at all. In fact, basically what the agreement says, or what terms and conditions say about this, is you loan your stuff for Facebook to be able to allow you to share your content to your friends. So it's almost the same rules with web designers, but it's often not maintained. I know that. So a web designer should, often doesn't, ask your permission to have the content that you give them for the purpose of putting it on your website. And often that doesn't happen. So it's the same thing for Facebook. You don't own Facebook. So therefore, anything that you post on Facebook, they need to ask you permission to allow that to be shared either publicly or to your friends or whatever audience that you decide on. So it is a myth that Facebook owns your content. Once you delete that content, so if you were to post a picture, once you deleted that picture, Facebook would no longer own the right, or no longer own or have the permission to use that picture. Just be mindful that Facebook does do backups and restores, so sometimes those photos will reappear because of that. I have, okay, so internet keeps resetting for one of our viewers, that's okay. What was I talking about? So things like, so on your business page, so the agreement that you sign when you have a Facebook business page is basically saying that you own your content that you're sharing on your Facebook page. And again, something that I see a lot of is people just going to Google Images, and I'm even guilty of this. Very early on when we first started out, we ill-advised people to go onto Google Images. Oh, just go onto Google Images, it's fine, it's all free. That's not the case at all. That's actually completely wrong. You can search for licenses on Google that say that it's free for commercial use or free for commercial use once edited, and then that's completely okay. But if you grab images off somebody else's website, what's happening, even if you credit that website, even if you credit that Facebook page, if you right-click download an image and then upload it later, you're technically stealing, which from the point of view of you're stealing their traffic. So instead of clicking the share button underneath the post off their page, if you're right-click downloading the image, and I guess part of the the issues for this is that the copyright law hasn't changed in 50 odd years, and the tools that we use have. So just because our tools allow us to be able to do these things doesn't mean that we should. And the risk to you as a business owner that might have a business page on Facebook, you could potentially lose your page entirely and have it removed because Facebook said, well, you agreed to the terms and conditions, you didn't abide by the rules that we set aside, and so you're violating copyright. And if we help you host those images that are violating the copyright, then Facebook gets sued. So they have to protect themselves for things like that, which is kind of important. So let me just check what's going on. No questions? I don't think so. Nope. No questions. That's cool. What have I got here? So, oh yeah, so I'm just going to show, I don't know if this is working. So, don't quite know how, there's this new thing on Google Hangouts that I haven't quite figured out, which is a showcase. So you can showcase an item from a website, and I'm trying to do that, but I'm not sure if it's working. I guess I'll find out when I review the video. So I've covered competitions. I've talked a little bit about copyright. Facebook advertising rules. So I'm pretty sure this hasn't changed. I haven't checked it in the last week or so. But there is a rule with your ads, when you run ads on Facebook. How much? So ads, images, so the amount of text you can have on an image on an ad in the news feed. This is very specific for news feed. You could be running an ad on the sidebar, and that's fine. You can add as much text as you want in it, apparently. But any ads that you run in the news feed, you cannot have more than 20% text. And we have had clients whose advertising accounts have been banned for lesser crimes, I guess, lesser Facebook crimes. So yeah, I see that happen a lot, and what I know happens sometimes is people will do, like they'll put a really high budget on an ad with lots of text just to push it out, but if you do that too many times, your ad account gets suspended. And from experience, unsuspending an ad account with Facebook is really, really painful. So you're better off trying to avoid that than, and this is a general rule for Facebook anyway, you're better off just not breaking the rules on Facebook, because asking for forgiveness is way, way harder. And one of the very few times we've had Facebook reverse a decision on something was because they'd actually made the mistake. And again, that's in terms of this whole people getting upset about, ages ago there was a thing about people getting upset about violence towards women, pages that were encouraging violence towards women, and there was a change petition that actually got started up to get Facebook to stop this. And what happened as a knee-jerk reaction was Facebook did sort of like a programmed filter to filter out all the pages, and in the process removed half a dozen pages that had nothing to do with violence towards women. One of the examples was, it was a page about a book that was written by some horror writers, and it was called the Witchcraft, the History of Witchcraft. And so as a result, this page got suspended, all the admins of that page got suspended, and it only took about 24 hours for Facebook, 48 hours for Facebook to turn around and amend the mistake that they'd made. But initially it was because of their knee-jerk reaction for just this, we've got to delete the page straight away, that sort of thing. And again, we're looking at 40 something million pages, so you know, that's pretty full on. I don't really know what else to talk about, to be honest. I thought I would just do this just for a bit of fun, and just because I'm a bit out of practice with Google Hangouts as well. So yeah, so let's just see if anybody's on. I guess there are some very new buttons here. Quite like, I want to try this the next time there's an intercall for Hangouts where people can call in and participate. That seems quite exciting. But yeah, I guess if there are no questions, let me just double check, and let me just check the actual Hangout page. Oh, hang on, might be a question here. Raf's having internet problems, okay. I think I'll probably wrap it up early. That's okay. So I'm Ming from Go, and this was a Mythbuster, a little bit on terms and conditions. Thanks guys for watching, and because this is live, this is going to go to YouTube as well. So have a great evening. Talk to you later.